Welcome back to PatronesMujer. I'll be sharing with you a tutorial on how to make the model you see in the picture. We'll take pen and paper to write down the materials. You'll find the pattern description in the magazine Children's Pattern number 14. Once we have the pattern tracing from the magazine, we'll cut along the line of the side that we are going to make. These are finished patterns, so that means they have 1 cm seams, hems, and come with notches and rainlets. Now we are going to cut the dress. Now we fold the main fabric in half with the right side inside. Grab your pattern pieces and prepare to cut them out. Each pattern piece has an arrow which refers to the grain line or the direction you need to lay out your pattern. Before you can cut your fabric pieces out, pin your 4 pattern pieces to the fabric, and we have a fold edge on the front, 2 sides front bodies, and 2 backs on the main fabric. We are going to cut around the edge of the pattern. These are finished patterns, so that means they already have hems and seams. These are the side pieces of the skirt. We fold the main fabric in half with the right side inside. Wrap your pattern pieces off the side, the skirt, and we cut 2 side pieces from the main fabric. Now, on the main fabric, lay out the pieces of the front and the back skirt. For the front, we have a fold edge, and for the back, which is the same pattern, but cut this one in half. Now we are going to cut the sleeve, but first you have to remember, check the arrow to the grain line and do this process to all pieces because it helps to get more stretch the fabric. And having said that, on the main fabric, lay out the sleeve and we cut 2 pieces. Before to take off the fabric, take a look at the key pattern making, the lines you find in the pattern, the notches, and speed them. This is the lining. We fold the lining fabric in half with the right side inside. Grab your pattern pieces. We have a fold edge at the front piece, and next to it we have the back. Once you have finished cut the pieces, we have from the main fabric, 1 front of the top part, which is the fold edge, 2 sides of the skirt, 2 backs, 1 front of the skirt, 2 sides of the front, 2 sides of the back, and 2 sleeves. And from the lining, 1 front to the top part, which is the fold edge, 2 backs from the top part. We also have one invisible zipper and one girl grain ribbon. These are the pieces from the back. We are going to overlock the two pieces of the center back. Once you have this down part, you are ready to begin the front part. These are the pieces from the back of the skirt. Pass one stitch on the top part and do another one parallel to the stitch that you have made, and pull the thread from the spool to get together. Lay down the back pieces of the bag. Match the right side and spread the piece of the skirt to the back. Have to match both. This is one side of the bag, and we are going to do the same process with the other part as we did to this one. We are going to do the zipper of the bag on the main fabric, but first change the foot for invisible zipper foot, because it will pull the teeth ever so slightly from the zipper tape, and it will allow you to sew really close in. And this foot will do all for you. Now pull the main fabric of the right side facing up, and so we're not close to the teeth as possible. We need to position the zipper teeth into the groove of the foot. From the waist to down, the large of the zipper is 6 or 7 centimeters. You need to make sure that you have a little bit room between the seams allowing and where the zip starts, so that don't get any little puckers. But first, you have to draw with a removable pen a mark on the cutways that helps to match both sides of the zipper. The other side is exactly the same as we did for the first side. So, if you remember, we turn the teeth into the groove of the foot. Gonna finish this off by closing up the remaining of our fabric. Line up your ends and stitch all the way down. We are going to close the lining with the main fabric by the neckline, but first we are going to pin around the piece. So first, pin the front piece with the back and pin it by the shoulders, and do the same process by the lining. But if you see, first you have to overlock the shoulders of the main fabric and match the rise of the back and the front, and close them by the shoulders, and do the same process to the other part of the dress like we did to this one. Pin around the neckline. Pin the back. Pin the other center back. Pin the side. Now, for this part, overlock the shoulders of the main fabric separately, match the rise of the back and the front, and close them by the shoulders. and do the same process to the other side as we did to this one. We continue with the lining, match the right of the back and the front, and we close them by the shoulders. Do one and do the other one. Take the iron and press the seam. Go along to the shoulders. Now we take the main fabric and the lining, match the rights of the fabrics and close by the neckline. You have to match the shoulders and the notches on the front and the back, and take a couple of back stitches at the end. Cut the excess of the fabric around the neck. Clip the seams allowance. Now turn the garment right side out. We do a stitch on the lining around of the neckline. Lift the centimeter seams towards the lining. On that way, helps to the lining not protrude into the body of the dress. Close the lining with the main fabric for the back. We change the normal foot for the single side foot for half the stitch close to the zipper. Stitch the zipper from the top to the bottom. The bottom part from the lining has to be overlocked. And the other side is exactly the same as we did for this first side. We cut the corners of the upper part before turning to the right. Close the lining and the main fabric for the side. Pass a stitch to all along the front and back side pieces and the bottom. We take the front part of the skirt, pass one stitch to all along of the top part and do another stitch parallel to the stitch that we have made, and pull the thread from the spool. Face the right of the top front part of the dress and the front part of the skirt and pin it and spread the gather to all along the pieces. We are going to make the pieces from the side skirt. We do the same as we did to do the front piece of the skirt. Pass one stitch to all along of part and do another stitch parallel to the stitch that we have made and pull the thread from the spool. Face the right and place. We face the gather up and start to sew. Important, pressing with our fingers so that the foot of the machine doesn't get entangled. The other side is exactly the same as we did for this side. Pull the seams up and pass a stitch on the piece with a new color. In this case, I'm using mustard color. The width is according to the width of the foot. And do the same process to the back. This is one side of the back and this is the other side. We pass another stitch around of the neckline. We overlock the pieces of the sides separately. We pin the sides and face the right of the fabric and do the same process to the other side. We take the piece from the skirt and face the right and spread together to the pieces of the sides. That means the front and back. Face the right and match the notches from the back and from the front, hand pinned to all along. And we do the same process to the other side like this one. Close the side. Sew it to all along from the top to the bottom. Face the fabric of the skirt and the sides and sew them. Pass a stitch to all along to the side pieces with a new color. The width is according to the width of the foot, and lift the centimeter seam towards the side. Close the side. Sew it to all along from the top to the bottom, and do the same process as we did to this one. Once you have this down part, overlock the pieces together. Close the other side to the all along, and when you finish, overlock the pieces together. Pass a stitch to all along to the side pieces with a new color. The width is according to the width of the foot, and lift the centimeter seam towards the side. And the other side is exactly the same as we did for the first side. We are going to pin the ribbon in the cuff of the sleeve. In this case, it's in the middle of the sleeve. You have to take the measure from the pattern and make a mark with a removable pen. Lay down the ribbon, fold the top part and 1 centimeter and pin it. And do the same process to the other one. We pass a stitch around to the ribbon like you are appreciating in the video. Overlock the sides and the cuff of the sleeves. Now, fold them and face the right and sew from the top to the bottom. And we pass another stitch to the head of the sleeve from the notch to notch. For the cuff, we do the hem at 2 centimeters, and it will be better if we first press with the iron to pass easy the hem. For the skirt, first overlock the bottom and with the iron press the hem. The hem is 3 centimeters. Iron all the skirt, pinning around. We take the head of the sleeve and match the notches and match the sides. Sew the hem from the skirt. Pass the stitch on top of the overlock. Take a couple of back stitches at the end. Now we place the ribbon 2 centimeters from the bottom of the hem. We pass 1 stitch in the edge of the ribbon. I prefer to stitch without mark, but if you prefer, make a mark with removable pen to all around of the skirt. When we arrive to the final, we leave 1 centimeter, cut and fold it inside and pass the stitch.
With the top part, we make the same process as we did to the bottom part. We pass a stitch to all along in the edge of the ribbon.
With the sleeve, we sew around. We match the notches, the shoulders, and the sides. When you finish, make overlock around the armhole. You have to match the sides and the shoulders. Check the final dress. We put some buttons off the cuff. I put a button on the neckline, and we finish our dress. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that thumbs up, and it will be great if you follow us. You will find a new tutorials and more things. The account is at PatronesMujer, and as always, thank you guys for watching the video.